Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Badger Pack Sports. Going to be going over Wisconsin Badgers football recruiting win that we got. Just going over some spring practices. Just snowed here, but it is spring, and we're talking football. Joined here as always by my guy Justin Legal. Justin, how's it going?
Basketball season's coming to an end here. March Madness is in full pursuit. We talked extensively in our previous episode on the Badger basketball team, so check that out. That's where my head's at now, but we do have to make some time to talk about some good stuff. You mentioned a huge recruiting win with Tayshon Bardo, and we also have some spring football to talk, and a lot of pressure on Fickell and the staff this year. So this is definitely well worth our time here in March to talk a little bit of Badger football. So I'm ready for it. I hope you guys are too.
Oh yeah, no, we got a recruit, Tayshon Bardo out of Indiana, coming in at 6 foot, about 175 pounds. Who knows what the weight will actually be by the time he gets here, but it's just good to get a recruit, and especially at the wide receiver position, a position that we've really been struggling to get guys at. Only bringing in one last year. Technically, we were supposed to have two. Cam Miller was the guy that was supposed to sign. He left, which for obvious reasons. When you know the offensive coordinator's changing, it wasn't shocking to see him leave, or actually just not sign at all with the Badgers. But no, just looking at the tape on Tayshon Bardo, just a solid guy. I wouldn't say he's like, top of the board guy, but just getting a guy in the room, kind of building that class, getting somebody to say, "Yep, I'm going to Wisconsin." Have him kind of work the quarterback, work other receivers. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I've noticed with recruiting is just the networking of players. And once you can finally get somebody to commit, you know, that's when everything starts rolling. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I think we're starting to build a little pipeline to Indiana. This is our second recruit in the
Yeah.
class. So we only have two guys thus far in March. Recruiting season is going to pick up heavily here. With Tayshon Bardo, we had some competition. Michigan State was heavy on him along with Indiana. So the fact we were able to get his commitment over schools like that, and I'm just looking at his offer list too. Louisville was on there, Vanderbilt, so some SEC schools being represented there. So I think it's a great win. I was watching some of his tape. Primarily an outside guy, which we need. It felt like in the Longo system we were so dependent and so hyper focused on slot
Yeah.
guys. The Will Paulings in the world with the transfer portal, Tretch
Yeah.
Kekahuno's on the team now. I'm sure we can go down even more names, but
Yeah.
it's just a guy to have in the room. We need youth in there. We can't keep living and dying on the transfer portal. And especially like you said, getting two receivers in the last 2 years. This is a great start to hopefully a very interesting and impactful 2026 class.
Yeah, Phil Longo, he loves his wife, but then slot receivers after that. So it's like, yeah, we needed an outside guy. Watching his tape, I really like that he's able to attack cornerbacks and really kind of get them to make a move before he makes his. Just seems to be a smart player, able to find the holes, really help his quarterback out in that. And I think, having a smart player who's going to be able to come in and pick up an offense, I think that's definitely a good to have in the system. I think he's still on Huddle said he ran like a 4.49 or something. So that's decent time. You know, Nothing great, but like I said, just getting a guy in the room. So that's exciting. But then just kind of transitioning into spring football. I mean, it's spring football time. I was so excited to start getting the inklings of what's all going on. Wisconsin football page has put out some videos of Billy Edwards dropping some dimes to guys for touchdowns. Just I don't know, seeing the guys out there in pads and shorts. I know it's just pads and shorts, but it's exciting to see.
Yeah, and I know over the years we've fallen victim to overreactions to spring film. And hey, you fan how you want to
Yeah,
fan, more power to you. Guys in t-shirts and helmets, we'll see what that translates to come fall. But
yeah,
it's just nice to see kind of a turning of a page, right? We got that taste of Braden Locke out of our mouths and the Phil Longo air raid offense or lack thereof. um, and really trying to start to see what Jeff Grimes has in store for us and a guy like Billy Edwards. Just one of the big things we've been hearing is just the moxie he brings to the room and kind of a confidence he has, right? we're not coming in here saying he's going to set the world on fire from a statistical standpoint, but just a leader in the room, leader of men, a guy that I think younger players can look up to. And that quarterback room is very young underneath him with Carter Smith and Danny O'Neal. Shout out to Danny O'Neal. If you're bored, go pull up his picture up on the Badger
Yeah,
football roster site. Dude's got quite the head of lettuce on his head going on there, but
yeah,
I nonetheless, he's a guy that he's only here for a season. He's going to make the most out of it. You know, he may try to boost his NFL draft stock and be an undrafted free agent or something, but
yeah.
he can at least set the tone and be the catalyst of change in that quarterback room to last years. Once he leaves the program.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say just with Billy Edwards, I think they've just shown him in so many clips already. Just he seems to just have a good attitude about him, just kind of, you know, messing with the team and everything like that. And yeah, it was definitely something like you heard about Tyler Van Dyke and how he just kind of wanted to come in and work, which is great, but it's like I think you need the leader, especially when you're coming into a new situation and now you got a new offense. You want a guy who's going to come in there and be confident and get everybody on the same page. So that was definitely exciting to see. It's like I'm excited for Billy Edwards. It's like, but no, don't want to get too excited. I think when Tanner Mordecai came in, it was 30 touchdowns, and it's like, man, if Billy Edwards gets 30 touchdowns, I'd be so excited. I don't think it's going to happen. Like we talked in one episode, it's like the last person to throw for 25 touchdowns was Alex Hornibrook. So, I mean, if Billy Edwards can get 25, I mean, he's gonna be up on the list of top Badger quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean the bar is set awfully low, right? Unfortunately, but and I guess Robbie, one thing I want to talk about a little bit is Jeff Grimes coming in. What are you
Yep.
hearing from spring ball regarding Darian Dupree, Dylan Jones, two guys, highly touted freshmen that came in last year? I think I've been hearing splitting carries. Not one guy has been dominating, let's say, but what are you hearing out of spring ball with those two guys?
Yeah, I would definitely say right now, it's an open competition. I would definitely say it's like, they have trust in these guys by looking at one, they did not sign a recruit and they did not bring anyone in the transfer portal. They did move somebody from the roster over to running back just to get a little bit more depth. But Dylan Jones did lose the ball a couple times. Seems like he wasn't able to take a handoff from Danny O'Neal. So that's going to hurt him. Got to definitely have ball security there. Darian Dupree, it's like he added some weight, but it's like just his build. It's like you can tell he's able to carry a lot of weight in his legs there, which is going to be great for contact balance there. It's like I still really like Dylan Jones just as like a guy who can cut and get upfield. I think that's going to be really good for him. But it's like as far as contact balance and just being able to make some other plays, I'm really excited for Darian Dupree. I think this could be a good two-headed monster. I know in the past Grimes has been kind of a one back type of guy, but I think if we got the talent, I think he should be able to use them. And if not, it's like if the way he's saying is, right now it's open competition time and may the best back win, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I think it's time, and we talked about this in one of our episodes. Getting back to the roots of the program, and I think establishing a run game. I don't care if it's Jones or Dupree. We just need a guy. We need a dude in the backfield. If it's two dudes, even better. It's just
Yeah.
we talked about the Tressel episode about the defense having issues, and I think the offense had some blame. With quick 3-and-outs and getting off the field quickly. And putting your defense in bad positions. I think having a strong run game to control the clock, to give your defense some rest, and also to have long established drives to give your quarterback time to be in the rhythm too. So I think it all kind of marries each other really well.
Yep.
Another name we talked about, some of our receiver room jumping off the
Yeah.
page. Jaden Ballard. We saw a nice clip of I want to say I think it was
Yeah.
Billy throwing a deep shot to him.
Yep.
What excites you in the receiver room, Robbie?
Yeah, no, Jaden Ballard had talked about him on one of the earlier episodes. Definitely excited about his speed. It's like, kind of bringing him in as one of the faster guys, but he's not the slot guy. Before we were talking about how quick Will Pauling was. He'd get to the middle and drop the ball. Well, that's not helpful how fast you are if you can't hold on to the ball. So just being able to get Ballard to go out deep, have Vinny Anthony, V8, on the other side, the twin turbos, you could call them. I'm excited for those guys. I think Trutch, they're talking. You know, he still has talent there. It's like I'm still a little frustrated because he entered the portal, then came back. So it's like I don't know, then was live Twitch streaming after that. But I'll get over it if he starts playing well. I said, he just wanted some extra followers on Twitch. It's like that was his move there. Okay, but no, I'm definitely excited about the receivers. Just the Jeff Grimes offense, bringing the motion into the offense again. It's one of those things. It's like I don't know why you wouldn't use it. It helps you see the defense. It can put your wide receivers in better positions. Just a good thing in my opinion. You got them going under center in this offense. It's like that can help you with the play action and with the speed. I think you can really take advantage of defenses. So I would just say I'm really excited for this offense. It's like, and in all honesty, they got to get more than 23 points per game to be better than Phil Longo. So it's not going to take much to be better than the past 2 years. I mean, they might not be scoring 40 burgers all the time, but as long as they're performing better, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think for me, is complementary football. That's what we need to play, but in all three phases. And again, it's much easier said than done. Um, the kicking game struggled last year with Vacos, and I haven't heard much from Spring Ball how he's doing. But you know, all those little facets need to come together, and those are what decide a lot of these close games. If we want any shot of hitting that bowl to get the bowl streak restarted again, we need all all three phases to
Yep.
complement each other. So yeah, we'll see. I know they announced so spring practices have started. April 19th is the spring game. I think they announced if you're a season ticket holder, it's free tickets. If you're a non-season ticket holder, it's $5 a piece. I'm going to try to make
Yep.
my way down there with my 2-year-old son. We'll see if that happens. Perhaps I can see with my own eyes on some Billy Edwards bombs to Jaden Ballard and checking out the running back field. But
Yep.
um, it's exciting times for sure.
Yeah, no, I think definitely complimentary. I think also just, looking at the size of the offensive line there. We talked about this before the show, but just looking, kind of towards the end of the Paul Christ era, it's like it just seemed like the offensive linemen, they were trying to get just a little bit lighter. I don't know if it was for pass pro or, just what they thought was best for the offensive linemen, but they were kind of going towards that like 310 range, and now they're starting to get them back up to like the 320 range. I want to see how that plays because I think that could be interesting. I think that could really help them in the run game. It's like, you think of old school smash mouth Wisconsin football. It's like, okay, we're going to run the ball. It's like, and the linemen get pushed back. It's like, well, it's no longer working. So they definitely increase their size on the offensive line. And then you flip it to the other side, the defensive line this year definitely gotten bigger. I know you kind of had pulled up the roster. I'd pulled up the roster, but it's like, man, these guys are a lot bigger. And, looking at the reports, I got some from Jesse Temple from The Athletic, just going through some of his articles, but they had some good rotations. And I mean, these guys are all around 300 pounds. It's like, I mean, Daryl Peterson, he added 20 pounds. It's like, I think they're going to play him on the edge more. I don't think they're going to make him try to be as much of a pass rusher. I think he's more there to set the edge again.
He wasn't much of a pass rusher, anyways, even if he wanted to be. Unfortunately.
Yeah. The spin move, he tried it.
Yeah, and I think my only concern with the bigger size, and I hear you, Robbie, on that they're getting bigger. I hope the weight was added smartly. As somebody who's large myself, my weight isn't great. But how about if these guys, 300 pounds may be good on the number, but did they lose a step? Did they lose some explosion? Did they
No.
lose a little bit of their athleticism? So obviously we trust the strength and conditioning program that they're profiling these guys properly. At the end of the day, though, um, bigger bodies mean harder to move, especially in the run game. Even if we're just solid
Yep.
with the run game and forcing defenses to be in obvious passing situations, that's a win. Even last year, we were really um, just struggling to get some of those simple stops and second or
Yep.
first and second down, and we were at disadvantage early on in drives.
Yeah, well, I think you bring in a guy like Nicholas Clayton, who's, at this point 6'5", 223 pounds. It's like you're not having him go in there to stop the run. But if you can get him into those third and longs, you get to strictly pretty much pass rush situation, you can put him in a good situation like that for him to succeed there. And I also think just the inside linebackers with Christian Allegro, Agent Zero, out there, it's like he's just got the speed. I think he's going to be able to clean stuff up. Tackett Curtis, we talked about him, could be a big year for him. It's like if you trust your linebackers and you got the size. I remember watching Cincinnati, playoff year, but they had a guy named Ivan Pace. And it's like that dude, he ran all over the field. And so if you get a linebacker like that who's ultra athletic and you just let him feast, I mean, I'm okay with that. It's like, and I don't know, when you got nasty linebackers, it just does something to your defense. And Wisconsin's been known for that in the past. It's like, give us the big boys up front and let those linebackers be nasty. That's how I want to see it.
Yeah, the defense needs an identity. We talked about the offense not having one under Phil Longo, but I think our defense sort of lost its way too. So I'm,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how some of these young guys plug and play, but also these guys that have been in the program now. This is year 3 under the Tressel system,
Yep.
and I don't even think we know what the system is. That's what's also frustrating too.
Yeah.
It's like bend but don't break, 2-4-5.
Yeah.
Are we running a 3-3-5? No one even knows, and that's
Yeah.
what's a little problematic, I think, too. Is there's really no identity tied to the defense, and
Yeah.
um, fully expect, Fickell in the offseason had a long, hard talk with Tressel and the staff, and I know they brought some
Yeah.
new hires in to help, coach the safeties, and I think that was an internal promotion for the safety coach, and then
Yep.
bringing guys like Tough Borland in for the linebacker core. I'm curious to see how those pieces mesh up.
Yep. Nope. Absolutely. I think it was definitely one of those things where maybe Trussell wanted to make some changes, but I don't think he had the personnel. Looking at the roster, and I think we said it, on our show before. It's like Mike Trussell, you're out of excuses here. It's like they've given you the weapons. It's like now you got to use them. And just kind of looking at the early practice reports, it seems like they do got some decent rotations there. It's like, and then you brought back your corners. It's like Hallman's back and Forkering, it's like, yeah, he's got a appeal case or whatever, but Luke Fickell said nope, he's on the team, so I won't bring that up, because Luke Fickell says he's on the team. Owen Arnett, it looks like he's going to be kind of the nickel guy, so that'll be interesting. Austin Brown moving back to safety. Austin Brown's definitely huge, just his versatility there. And then it's like you got Preston Zachman back. I mean, that defense, they do still return a lot of guys at the same time. So even though we didn't know what the defense was, it's a lot of people returning, and it's Tressel's third year as coach.
Yeah, and if talent's the problem, then it's not a good thing that that we're returning a bunch of starters.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
Well,
see.
I think it was, just a lack of depth too. It's like you go back to when you got an outside linebacker when what's his name now? I just used to play outside linebacker when they first got here. What was his name?
Is he still on the
White
team
guy.
now?
Nope, nope. He was there just for the first year.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot
So
here. I don't know.
yeah. Oh, it's not Noah Burks. That's who I always think of, but it's not.
Uh,
Well, in the comments, you guys will know who it is. But
yeah,
it
you can
was
roast us for not knowing that.
yeah, yeah. He's in. I brought him up in one of our previous episodes, so it's like I should know who it is. But it's like they were just talking about how we used him way too much, and it's like you got to get the pressure off some of these outside guys, get a good rotation in, and it's like that was one of the things. It's like I looked last year at Cincinnati's defensive line room, and it was still crazy how many guys they had compared to us. We had like 10 scholarship guys. It was an atrocious number actually to look at, and so it's like, but like I said, we signed a lot of linebackers in the transfer portal. So that's what hurt us. I think hopefully now 3 years later, we've built depth and we're starting to eliminate these excuses. And now you truly can put these on the coaches. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's just one of these things where you got to breathe and say, maybe we didn't realize how bad of a situation we were in. It's like I know a lot of people will be like, well, Fickle's had all these transfer portals, but it's like the transfer portal's been new. We've had to figure it out. I definitely think we're in a better situation this year. And I've said it before that I think the secondary hires that Fickle's made have definitely been better. So maybe he had to take a breath. And I think he's even said it the same thing. He was a little arrogant when he first came here, and now he's kind of figuring it out. Like I said, he had a quote that he said he's going to keep his mouth shut, this year pretty much because we got a lot to prove. So I think that's a good mentality to have for him.
Yeah, and you covered a lot there, and I think one thing is the transfer portal. We talked about this a little bit. It's a lottery ticket. We don't know if it's going to hit. These guys are in the transfer portal for a reason, and I think that's why a guy like Tayshon Bardo excites us to kind of keep that recruiting momentum going. I know we have a lot of guys, and I know Robbie, you were looking at two quarterbacks. That's kind of the room we've been
Yep.
thinking about. We brought Carter Smith in
Yep.
last year. We have Danny O'Neal that we brought in the transfer portal, and then obviously Billy Edwards is going to start this year. But there's two guys, we've been kind of linked to very different skill sets than we've recruited
Yeah.
under the Longo scheme, and even the Paul Christ era. Who are those two guys, Robbie? I know you've been digging into them. What do you got to say about those
Yep.
guys?
Nope. And I was talking about this on the Badger Discord. We just kind of had a vote. The two guys are Ryan Hopkins. He comes out of was it Santa Maria, California, big school out there. And then you got Travis Burgess, quarterback out of Georgia. You know, Ryan Hopkins, it's like 6'3" quarterback. I'd say kind of the prototypical. He can run really well. It's like I think he's the more polished guy right now. And then Travis Burgess is 6'5". He's around 200, 210 pounds. I mean, he's just got the ability Burgess does to like he could be a lot better. Hopkins is the guy who like if you get him, it's like, he's a solid pickup, but Burgess is the guy who's like, you're able to add good weight onto him. It's like the talent is there, and it's like what he could be like really excites you there. He's just able to run well. I think actually both of these guys are able to run well, and I
And
think
that's
that
what I
would be
like.
something that, yep.
Well, that's what I like. It's like
So,
we're getting athletes as quarterbacks. We're not just having prototypical pocket passers
yep,
or guys that have minimal athletic upside. And because part of Grimes' system is to get the quarterback not as a complete sprint, like a Lamar Jackson type of threat, but
yep,
a guy that can, when the pocket breaks down, they can get a quick 7, 8, 10 yards or even bust a run here or there, just to kind of have yet another layer to attack defenses. And I think that's what
yeah,
excites us in Wisconsin is like we haven't had a guy like that. I mean, I know Russell Wilson had some of those skill sets, but at a much smaller stature. These guys 6'3", 6'5", these type of builds with long strides. It's interesting to see us target these kids. We'll see if uh, I'm skeptical if we're going to be successful because we don't have that pedigree. But we got to start somewhere. And Carter
yeah,
Smith kind of got that momentum in the right direction with quarterback. So maybe
yep.
we can hit a guy like this. But
Yeah, I would say Grimes kind of has that in his back pocket, so I think that helps. He had a breakdown basically of what he wants his quarterback to do and how they want to be able to move and run the ball and like essentially who they offer. And I think that's huge, just kind of being able to tell a guy it's like, hey, this is how much we want you to run. Like this is our whole system of why we do this. And I think as long as you can know a reason why you do something, that's big to be transparent to kids these days. It's like I think, with the internet and everything, it's like everybody's built to question things more. And if you don't have a good reason, it's like the kids see through that.
absolutely. I think that's a good place to maybe end it tonight, Robbie, on spring
Oh
ball.
yeah.
Any final or closing thoughts on where we're at? I know
Yeah.
there's a long way to go till we kick off in August,
Yeah.
so I'm sure there'll be plenty more time for us to underreact, overreact, talk recruits. Hopefully, we have a lot
Yeah.
more episodes of talking recruits because we're getting
Yeah.
heated up in the recruiting season, and that always excites me.
I was gonna say I love talking recruits. I'm probably gonna be the one who gets overexcited, and then we got Justin here to make sure that I don't get too excited.
Temper
So thank
expectations.
yeah, thank you, Justin, for calming me down. I mean, I think my expectation's still only 6 wins. So if it starts like inflating to like 8 and stuff, just remind me of that. I do think there's 8 winnable games on the season, though. If I get over 8, like I don't know,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Then
have to
we,
hit
we
me over
may
the
we may
head.
have to remove you from the show or ban you for a month or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, and it's okay. Optimism's good, and that's what us
yeah,
as fans. Fan is short for fanatics. So we're fanatics. We're not here to be right. We're here to be fans, and that's what we want to talk to you guys in the community with. So in the comments, please, let us know what are you hearing about spring ball. Are you
yeah.
planning on going to the spring practice? It's April 19th in Madison. If the weather's good, I will plan on being there. It's a great family event as well. So that's a great way to bring family, kids, spouses, whoever to join. And um, it's that'll probably get me overly excited and optimistic when I go
Yep.
there, and I'll share my thoughts
Yeah.
as well.
Unless it's like the launch and Billy Edwards throws like 4 interceptions, then we might really tamper our expectations. Be like, oh no, we've seen this before. Here we go again.
Yeah, there's a wide spectrum of emotion that may come by, but drop a like, subscribe, and
Yep.
comment. Robbie, you want to send us out of here?
Oh yeah. Either way, football's almost coming. It's like let's get excited. Badger basketball, March Madness is coming. Let's go. Let's get excited. And be sure to tune in next time to the next episode of Badger Pack Sports. See ya.